Okay, here's a hopefully quick one for you. So I was driving an old Theseus a couple weeks ago, and all of a sudden I started feeling wind on the back of my neck, and it got a little bit louder in the car than normal. And that was because I got some of this, going on with the window, which it's not supposed to do. So it's, best as I can tell, these little plastic clippy guys inside the window that have broken off. And here's the thing, I can roll the window down, but it does not roll back up, but I can hear the whole mechanism in there working perfectly fine. So again, I think it is this plastic clippy guy that holds the actual cable that's attached to the regulator motor, or that clip on the regulator that's attached to the motor that pushes the window up and down. I think the plastic clip broke, hoping it is at least. So I picked those things up for about 12 bucks, and we're gonna pop this door card off and see if we can get that clip replaced without pulling the regulator. Doubt that, but I'll try. Pretty sure I have to take the speaker out to get to it, but anyway, I digress. It's not super hard. It's Phillips head screws in here. Pop this cover off, take that Phillips head off, just sort of rip the door card up and off and pull it out. You have to disconnect this handle in there, and then I think it's just Phillips head screws for the speakers. I got aftermarket speakers in here, so I got to figure out whether or not I hot wired them in or not. So we'll figure that out. All right, so this is all out of the car, and I figured out how to replace things and put it all back together, and I'll go over that in a second. But real quick, let me show you how to get this thing out of the car, more or less. There's a lot of other videos out there that show how to do this better, so I'm not going to harp on it, but let me just go over it real quick, just in case. So, of course, you got to get the door card out. I already showed you that. You got to get this weather seal out of here. You have to take the speaker off before you take the weather seal off. And you need to disconnect this handle, or this doohickey right there for the lock, in order to get that out of your way so you have more clearance in here. And then what it is these two bolts up here and this bolt down here for the regulator, and these these three bolts right here for the actual window motor. They're 10 millimeter. You don't have to take them all the way out. You just have to loosen them. If you have weird clearance issues and you can't get it out, I couldn't get my regulator out of here, just take those two bolts out of there. There's nothing capped. There's no weird thing or anything. It's captive nuts. It's threaded. You can just take them out and put them back in as you need. So then loosen the motor, drop it down here, unplug this harness. It's your standard Mopar annoying clicky thing. Mine wasn't annoying, thankfully. Get your motor free, and then what I had to do, oh, and there's also this little black clip here that holds the cable guide that's attached to the motor, so pop that out. What I had to do is take my regulator, push it, pick it up, push the bottom in, wriggle this out, take those bolts out because it fought me, and then slide it over this way and then up out that way, while simultaneously, pulling the cable guide up like this and just slurping everything up and out of here. It also, by the way, you also need to disconnect the window. Window is held on with a clip. Probably won't need to do that. If your plastic clippy guy is broken, it'll be clipped to the window down in there somewhere. Or actually, the window will be free moving, attached to that clip. And either the clip will be broken off and attached to the window, or in my case, it was actually still in the regulator, but the cable had disconnected from the clip, so it was no longer moving up and down. There is a pin down here. What you can do is push the window all the way down, and you should be able to see this guy down in here, and you pull it out, and that'll free the plastic guy from the window. Then you can pull the whole regulator out. Do that first. Once that is out of there, probably slurp your window regulator out, hook it back up to there, and if you still have the clip attached in there, probably want to roll the thing all the way up just to make your life a little bit easier, but I don't think it's necessary. So let's get to actually replacing the plastic clip job. So your broken plastic guy, there's probably going to be some bits resembling this still attached down here to the spiral cable. So you're going to want to unscrew those from the end of this cable. Mine came off by hand. You may have to use pliers to do that. Then you're going to want to free your regulator from the actual motor cable housing. And the way that you do that is there are these two ears on the back of it right here. You're going to want to jam a flat blade screwdriver up underneath them and bend them up straight like that. And there's also this tiny little rivet here. You're going to want to drill that out so that the top is no longer on there. And what you're able to do from there is kind of pull up and rotate this whole tip of the cable like that. And that should pivot it up off of this, and you should be able to slurp it out the end of that. And then you can pull any remnants of this out of here. And then your plastic eye is either attached to the actual window itself, in which case fish it out from the inside of the car, or like mine, it was actually still connected, but this was the only thing still attached to it. When I actually pulled it out, this snapped off. So this was still actually in the regulator for me, but it was no longer connected to this cable. So to put the new one on, you come up here to this cable, and then this is the orientation you need. So what you want to do, this is actually threaded inside of here, inside of this little plastic housing. So you're just going to want to turn it onto the end of this cable until this cable starts to spin in the housing, because this motor pushes this up and down, so the cable doesn't actually spin. So if you screw this on tight enough, this cable won't spin inside of this housing, and so that's how this is able to go up and down, because this cable just goes up and down, it doesn't rotate. What I did is I just grabbed on this with the pliers and then gave this just the little bit more torque it needs, just so that I know it's not going to come off finger tight. Then, to get the regulator on, you come in like so, and this is the orientation, because you got to turn these guys down in like that. You slide this into that little guy right in there. You make sure that that dude jobber right there slides into this little hole in here. Like so. Then comes the tricky part that I can't show you one-handed, is you have to sort of slide this in as far as it'll go, and then kind of shimmy snake this into the metal right there, into that little housing in there, just enough that you can sort of pivot these ears down in here, then fold them back over and put a new rivet. And I'm going to drive this rivet out real quick. Okay, so I popped the rivet out and I checked through all of my finest rivets, and it looks like it is whatever's smaller than an eighth, not a 16th, but 3/32 or something, because I didn't have a rivet, but I did have a nail. So I just jammed a nail through there and then drove it flat. Just needs to hold this thing in place, so that's good enough. Not my finest work, but we'll get over it. This guy is on here. I greased the snot out of this in white lithium grease, and we're going to attempt to throw this back in the car, now it's dark, and see whether or not the window works. I think you need to put this all the way to the down position in order to properly clip the window in, but we shall see. All right, we got her hooked up, and she works. So that's good news. Whole regulator's warped on kind of the doors smashed in, but I don't know where exactly I should put this. Probably somewhere right about there looks good to line up with that hole down there. So yeah, we'll give it a shot, see if we can get her back in. Okay, well, that is back in. It's a bit of a bear schloosing it down in there, but you'll figure it out eventually. Just give it a wriggle and pull those two bolts out, and probably set you, pretty straightforward. I have a bit of difficulty on account of, the whole door being stoved in part. But anywho, and further complications from that, because there's this little ball socket down here that this clip hooks onto, and that whole ball socket for mine was actually bent like that, which is probably the crux of why the thing was bent and broken. But anyway, I've got that all hooked up now, and hopefully my window should just go up if we do this and not make horrid clacking noises and break. Nice. I think we got it figured out. I don't actually know if it's going all the way up, but nothing I can really do about that. It's very sad on account of the whole... Nope, she's sealing. I think we're good to go. Heck yeah. Let's just throw the speaker and door card back on there real quick. Bam. Back together. Good as new. So yeah, tried the window a couple more times and cleaned off all the goop. Brake parts cleaner. Takes Gorilla tape right off. I would not spray it directly on it, but I sprayed it on a rag and then wiped it down. It took it bang off. So she's good to go. Anyway, hope this video helped you. If it did, give it a like, comment. Tell me how weirdly the clip was broken off of yours, or if it was doing something funny. And yeah, if you want to see more of this garbage and all of this delicious pollen. It's pollen season. Then you gotta smash the big red button and subscribe. And until next time, Tom out.